Welcome to the Journey 2020. Happy to be here with you on a Monday coming off the weekend. And I think we officially into winter. I think so. I know up in the Northeast that they've been having some serious snowstorms. And it's somehow funny that every year there seems to be history making weather. It doesn't matter, but there always seems to be the largest, the highest, the most of something every year. So I guess there's always records to be broken, especially now that we're having all these climate problems and somebody who seems to ignore the scientists and so on and so forth, which is another show. And this show is the Journey 2020, where we've been around since 2013. And as my old co-host used to say, Dr. Robinson is from me to you, and we try to reach a high level. And that's what we try to do here on the Journey 2020 as we try to help and educate each other. Sometimes the show is a little lighthearted, and sometimes it's very serious. And as you know, on the Journey 2020, on the third Monday, we have our very own Kathy Meeks. She is a clinical psychologist, and as you know, we have a lot of fun with her. She's the sex therapist. And wow, okay. And on the fourth Monday, we have either Hakina Krumah from Young Fathers of Central Florida, who has what I think one of the best organizations in all of the country. And what they do is they mentor young fathers as young as 12 years old on up to about the age of 27. And in that organization, they have 9 programs, which are really great. And they help these young men step up to the plate. And what is more important than being a parent? What is more important than understanding your role as a father and doing all the things that a father is supposed to do? And so with Young Fathers of Central Florida, they've been around for 15 years, right here in the Central Florida area, and they do a lot of great work, I'm telling you. And the state loves them. I'm telling you, the state loves them. Why? Because Young Fathers of Central Florida has... They have recovered, they have recovered over $1 million in child support payments. So you know the state loves them, right? So they do a very good job in helping fathers step into their role. And without that being said, I would say Google them because they're always looking for volunteers. There's a process that you have to go through, but if you would like to donate time or money, look up Young Fathers of Central Florida, Hakina Krumah. He's originally from New York City. And if he's not available, then we have our very own Regina Johnson. She is our life coach. And what Ms. Johnson likes to talk about is our finances. We have a lot of fun with her because we talk about, is there romance without finance? That's another show, right? But with Regina Johnson, our life coach, we talk about the importance of saving for a rainy day, getting out of financial debt, thinking about our retirement, raising our credit scores, and what are some of the things that we can do to get rid of some of the bad habits that we have when it comes to spending, and thinking about trying to save our money, just being a little bit more cost conscious, and some of the things that we need to be more aware of when it comes to spending money and taking better care of ourselves and our pocketbooks. That's all right here on the Journey 2020. As I said, we've been around since 2013, which brings us up to the lady that we have so much fun with. And I need her to speak because right now I'm looking at an old friend on the screen. And so I need you, Miss Dr. Meeks, to say something. But if not, then I can talk to this person right here, which is Thelma. How you doing, Thelma?
I'm great. How are you, Charles?
Okay, I'm trying to get Miss Meeks to speak, but that's okay. Miss Dr. Meeks is the clinical psychologist out of, there she is. She's out of Robinson and Associates.
I was always here. I don't know what you're thinking, what you were looking at, but I was always here, my dear.
No, what happens is, when you speak, it switches, so whoever speaks is what comes on the screen. So that's why you have to speak, so whoever speaks is what comes on the screen. So that's why I was saying I was hoping that you would say something. But listen,
Okay.
listen. The Journey 2020, you've been here for a year and a half.
Uh-huh.
And we have talked about a lot of good things over this year and a half. And tell us why you felt it was important for you to do this forum.
Okay, let me correct something that you said. I'm not a clinical psychologist.
Okay.
I refer to myself as a psychotherapist. I
Psychotherapist.
specialize
Okay.
in, yeah, psychotherapist. I
Okay.
specialize in marriage and family. My doctorate is in clinical sexology.
Oh.
So,
Don't
yes.
wait a minute. Don't you
So
don't you
there's
sound
a
like a little something
difference.
something?
Yeah, there's really a difference, and I know a lot of people, they don't know the difference, so I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
That I
Okay.
am a
Well,
psychotherapist. I specialize in marriage and family therapy. My doctorate is in clinical sexology.
sexology.
Yeah.
Um, I've always wanted to ask you this question, and let me ask you this: what happened the day that you said this is the avenue that I wanted to take? What happened? And I'm not saying anything wrong, but why did you? I mean, what was Kathy, Dr. Meeks thinking about to say? You know what? I'm going to walk through this door.
You know, I, I grew up in a very strict Christian home
Okay.
where sex was never talked about. We went to church, and nothing was ever said. So we get married and we don't know anything about sex. We do the best that we can. And then I went into marriage and family, and then I started to see families coming before me, and they had different sexual dysfunctions. And my master's degree did not prepare me to deal with those issues. So, because I saw the need, that's the reason why I went into it. And as a matter of fact, I too had some questions that I
Okay.
need answered. So, instead of just Googling, the internet professors, I decided to go to school and try to learn about it so that I could help my clients. So that's what led me, my personal background and identifying the need.
Now, now, you said something very funny because
I did.
no. I mean, listen. In the year 2020, right? Because I'm
Mhm.
thinking back now. I'm not saying that you have many years on you, right? But I'm thinking back
I'm not
that
ashamed. No, there's no shame
no.
in my
But see,
game now.
no. I'm thinking back because when I was in school, and when you said what you said, we didn't have Google. So when you think of the millennials, and if there's something that they want to know, because basically what you just said was, well, honey, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me get my phone. I'm going to see if I can Google that and see if I can find that
Exactly.
spot that somebody told me about. So, because you said instead of the Google, because back then I'm pretty sure there was no Google and the internet, and you could do that on the phone, which the millennials would be like, I don't know what you're talking about. So you decided, that's why I said it sounded funny to me, because I can only imagine that whatever it was that was going on and you wanted to find an answer, certainly I'm saying probably Google was not around is what I'm saying. So
You're absolutely right. So what was around was pornography.
right, there you go.
Right, pornography. Porn was around.
Right.
And then you see the men, they going to pornography and they're trying to take it home to their wives and it's just not working. Or even women.
Okay.
So, I decided to educate myself. Oh, those Playboy magazines too.
Yeah. They work to some degree. No.
Those were around.
Yeah. But because there's nothing like being 15, 16 years old and you got a Playboy magazine. But that's another show. Yeah. Anyway, um, so you're making me blush. Now, again, and I'm asking because we've kind of had the conversation, because Kathy, the moment you say anything in reference to, it doesn't matter whether it's you or especially a female, because the moment you say that you have anything to do with like sexology, sex period, people look at you go like, oh, she's a freak.
You're absolutely right. They
Yeah.
think I'm a freak. Hmm.
They notice she didn't, she didn't clarify, but that's all right. But listen,
And I think it's good to have, let me just say this. I think it's good to have a little bit of freak in us, but I think it needs to be with just one person or your significant other. And that's why in my workshops, I promote let's talk love, sex, commitment, because I believe in healthy sexuality. And that's what I promote in just instead of just the freaky part of sex. You do the freakiness with your significant other and not with, everybody else. You know what I mean?
that's another show. I
Mhm.
always say there's a show in the show. Well, listen, um, we've been doing, and we've talked about a lot of things over a period of time. We've been doing a lot of things. We've had a lot of good conversations. But the reason why I wanted to do this show today was because a few weeks ago, you called me and you said that you started, I guess, a support group. And so, once you kind of bring us up to date and tell us why you did that and why you felt that was important.
Well, the COVID-19 or this pandemic has affected so many people. And what I was seeing was a group of women in particular and men who were just having challenges in their lives, in interpersonal relationships. And some of them did not, because of COVID, of course, they were losing their jobs and they could not afford therapy anymore. So the need was there to provide an environment where there was growth opportunities and where women from different generations, because it affected the different generations, could come together, share their experiences, and help one another with different challenges that they're having. One of the main things that I was seeing is that there was an adjustment. Some of them were getting out of a divorce. Some of them, there was job loss. There was debt. People were dying. And there just was not enough support because without insurance and without those funds, can't afford therapy. So, I thought that it would be a good idea to bring these people together where they can get the help from each other. And of course, with myself as a therapist, I could create that environment where people could get the help that they need.
Well, you know, during this pandemic, we have done so many shows on what's been going on with the clientele, your clientele, and we've talked about some of the highs and the lows and all the thing that has transpired since this thing has started, and it's been some interesting conversations. And I think one of the things that I talked about that amazed me, and I don't know if you remember the video that I edited that I showed you of that sister who was struggling, and she was yelling at she was cussing Corona out, and she was like having a difficult time because she was stressing and was very frustrated because she had to spend time with her kids and all the things that came with that. And us, and I say us, now we actually have to spend time together, and we didn't know what to do. Not all of us, some of us struggle with that, even spending time with our kids. And I grew up with people spending time with me, and that just kind of blew my mind. But you talked about that. And now this culture, this society is so different. I don't know if you remember that show.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, and so with that being said, the challenges of just being able to spend time with your child is a challenge. It's just like,
It's a
wow.
challenge, yes.
But that's amazing to me. That's just amazing to me. That you struggle because now you got to spend time with your child. That's just crazy to
And
me.
your spouse. You're
Yes.
cooped up with your spouse where,
Right.
we live
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
society where everybody's just so busy.
Yeah. Well,
So,
yeah. I mean,
you
we,
pass each other on your way to jobs or different extracurricular activities. And, people were getting away from knowing each other. And
okay.
then all of a sudden you're forced to face your partner and raise your children and teach them. Because
Oh,
now we have parents who are not only parenting, but now they have the role of teaching because they're
okay.
home and they
Now,
have to teach. So that's a whole lot of stress.
Kathy, that's crazy. I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy that you struggle with spending time with your child. And we talked about a
Well,
lot of relationships work because they don't really see each other, but now they see each other, which is a whole nother room for them to walk into. But you started this support group a few weeks ago. So tell us about that and why you felt that was so important.
because people needed support. They need to know that they were not the only one who were experiencing these challenges. And I believe if people could come together and share their experiences, they could help each other grow. And the beautiful thing about this group is that we have different generations. When we started out, we had the young adults, we had the middle adults, and I see myself as middle to late adulthood. So, we had the different generations with the different experiences. So we were able to equip and to help each other grow and develop and handle these challenges that they encounter.
Okay,
And
well,
it was just beautiful.
okay, well, we have some of the the beautiful ladies here that is part of the support group, and I don't know who wants to. I mean, we saw Thelma earlier, but well, you know what? Let's start with Thelma. Thelma, why don't you introduce yourself?
All right. Hello, I'm Thelma Rigby, and I have been a part of the forum that Dr. Meeks has been hostessing on a weekly basis for a few weeks now. And I found it to be quite stimulating emotionally because it really gets you to thinking, not just about yourself, but others. And like
Right.
she said, um, by having an opportunity to communicate with other individuals from different generations, especially, it's quite refreshing because you have an opportunity to actually witness through your communication some of the things that different ones are having to cope with during these eras, because you can get so caught up in yourself if you're not careful, especially because most of us are working out of our homes. We're not getting out, and we're making the best of it. But it is an opportunity to just exhale, to
Okay.
talk. And
Right.
sometimes just having an opportunity to talk to somebody else is therapy in itself.
Well, I thought that, when she talked about it, I immediately thought of you because of what you do and what you've been doing for a while. Won't you quickly tell us about your passion and what you do when it comes to the young ladies and some of the things that you felt that was important for you to get involved with? And you've been doing it for a while.
Yes, I have. Lately, I have not been as active, but to be very honest with you, I've really just been contemplating on the direction to take. And I had some great ideas that I was going to start this year, and then the pandemic happened, which really kind of threw a boomerang into everything, but it's very, very much on my heart. I do have a passion for women. I had a 501c3 Florida nonprofit for years before I moved to Georgia with my job. But the purpose of that ministry was really to motivate women to excel to their optimum potential. And what we meant by that is that we wanted you to realize that it is important that you are whole, WHOLE, in order to be fulfilled. And part of that is allowing yourself to be restored. Sometimes, especially with women, we get so caught up with everybody's lives that we forget about ourselves. We put ourselves on the back burner. But one of the things that we did for many years is that we actually hosted conferences to different resorts, and we provided grants for individuals to participate. You know, if they didn't have the money, we did fundraisers, and we provided opportunities for them to come. We had workshops, and I wish I had known Dr. Meeks then, because she would have been just so awesome. But I'm looking forward to doing that again. But we had different topics, you know, everything from finances as well, relationships, and just understanding that you're not the only person that's going through what you're going through. That was one of the big caveats. And I started this particular outreach or this community service because being in the ministry, I recognized, like Dr. Meeks, I grew up in the church. I grew up in a Christian home. So I had a very strong foundation spiritually. But what I realized is that there are so many women, all ages, who don't necessarily get that. And I realized that everybody is not going to come to a church. You can invite them, you can call them, you know, but everyone is not going to come. So part of my vision was to create a platform where they would feel comfortable. So our conferences were all at resorts or hotels. You know, they may not come to a church, but they'll come to a conference center. So I'm excited about what Dr. Meeks is doing. I'm learning a lot, and it's actually motivated me to the extent that it's given me some ideas and strategies to move forward.
Okay. Yep. And I know that you actually brought some of the young ladies to my event a while back. So I know that, well, I can't wait for you to get back into the groove and when this thing is over. And I know that you and Kathy will be working well together because she has that passion. Now, I really can't see who else is on the screen, but if we can have whoever else can introduce themselves. Who wants to go next?
Yes. I'm Tasha Williams. I am a colleague with Dr. Meeks, and I am a registered counseling intern. And I'm new to the group, fairly new to the group. But what I've experienced coming to the group is an opportunity to see many sharing, you know, and coming together in support of each other, and sharing their experiences from sharing and supporting each other from various experiences and walks of life. So I really enjoy and see the benefit that the group is bringing to the community of individuals that are taking part in it. And so I'm glad that I was able to join, and I look forward to attending much more often, and
No,
seeing how much more I
no.
can learn and what I can bring as well.
Okay, let me ask you something.
Yes.
You said that you were intern, right?
Yes.
Okay. Why did you decide to go into that field?
Well, just I grew up in I grew up also in a Christian home, but then I also grew up in a home with a lot of superstitions and a lot of just that's another show all in itself. But I have witnessed mental health issues like throughout my family with friends, and I just always wanted to educate and help people. I wanted to serve and see people kind of overcome their struggles with mental health, and even just be educated about whatever it is that they're struggling with, so they can be empowered to be in more control of what they're facing. And so that is what kind of drew me to the field. And so I graduated back in 2018 with my master's degree, and so I'm working towards my license right now.
Oh, okay, and so what else would you like to do with that?
I would just like to I would like to educate individuals. I love the psychoeducation piece. I love the piece that helps people to understand, what they're experiencing, and kind of look at their history, kind of help people research themselves so they can become experts, their own experts, so that they can, be empowered to help themselves to get more, to get more like stronger in being a better version of themselves.
Now, let me ask, let me ask the question: how important do you really think this is, and why you think it's so important?
Well,
I
I
mean,
think.
I mean the
Oh.
group itself. Why you think something like this is so important? And I want to ask Thelma the same question.
Well, I think a lot of times people, there's a stigma associated with any mental health issues or concerns. People don't talk about it in especially in my community. People don't talk about mental health, or people avoid it. People deny different things, and I feel that sometimes in a support group type of environment, people are able to see that they're not alone. They're not the only one experiencing something that they're experiencing. Together they can find, like, wow, I'm not the only one that experienced this. Or, they find out through sharing that there are others that have actually had to, experience some of the things that they've actually um, encountered. So I think through having a support group, it helps people to feel more, um, to feel more, I don't want to say normal, that's not the word I'm looking for, but it helps them to kind of accept that, it's okay that I've gone through this thing that I've gone through, and other people are able to give each other that support to say, I've gone through it, I overcame in this way. And in sharing that, a person can be encouraged to kind of face whatever it is that they're experiencing, accept whatever it is that they need to accept, and then feel more empowered to overcome whatever it is that they're facing. So that's
Okay,
why I feel that a support group is important.
okay, I'm going to ask you kind of a strange question because I heard you said earlier that you had observed, I guess, coming up that there was some dysfunctions, right?
Yes.
When when did you realize? Because when you grow up, and I say this all the time, as I get older, I realized just how dysfunctional my family was. You don't know that you're dysfunctional until you start to go out into the world and you start to mature. When did you realize the dysfunction? Because when you in it, it's like a normal thing. So when did you realize the dysfunction as you started to recognize it?
I would say it was when when my mother remarried, and we went overseas, and I was with a different group of youth, and some of the conversations that we would have, and I know, like, at that time I was very, very superstitious. And so meeting with some individuals, I remember it was funny. It was funny. I remember telling a friend to not split a pole. I said, you need to come back around that pole, because if you split the pole, you're splitting our friendship. So this is just how superstitious I was. And that friend told me, she said, do you believe in God? And then I told her that I did. And then so she said, God said, don't put any other uh, gods before me. So when she told me that, it helped me to see that I had all these superstitions in my life, like so many, because I was taught that. I was taught the Bible, but then I was also taught the superstitions. And I don't know, it's just going to another country, being around other youth from other states, and actually interacting with them. I noticed that they didn't think the same, they didn't communicate the same, and then I noticed that everyone has different beliefs, and so I began to um, feel good about like my beliefs, but then I also respect the beliefs of others. And so it helped me to just grow. I grew in that, in that moment. I think I was maybe 15, 16 when I started to feel that way. And I say, that saved my life, moving to another country and having the experience and opportunity to be with other youth and to be around other families, and then watch how those parents did things, and watch how other families lived. And so sometimes when you're like even going to college, I was able to see that, some of I remember having a study group, and we got into a conversation about doing chores. And it was like, okay, in my home, the men worked outside, the women worked inside. And then another person said, well, in our house, we took turns. Boys and girls took turns washing the dishes. So every home had different rules. And so it was just another opportunity to learn, like, wow, not everyone does things the same way things are ran in my home. So I think that the more experience, the more we get outside of things, we learn and we grow. And the more exposure and access we have to other individuals, and the more we're able to see how they live, the the stronger we become in knowledge, and we grow. And it depends on what we want to accept and what we want to reject, as far as the knowledge that is shared with us.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. I that's pretty good. So, Miss Thelma, I wanted to ask you the same question as far as the importance and why you think this group is so important. This coming together. Why you think it's so important?
Um, well, listening to Tasha, if I had to sum it up in one word, it would be diversity. I think the older you get, the more you appreciate that God created us all with unique characteristics, abilities, gifts, which defines our purpose. And I believe that having support groups like this, it just open your awareness. You do learn about other people's cultures, and as a result, sometimes it can be knowledge that you can apply by choice. You hear it, you think, you know what, that might work for me. And you'll realize that there may be other ways to do things, to approach things, to think about things that may be better than what you've learned and how you've learned it all your life. Not only that, I know that mental illness or having mental issues is an illness. I also believe that the cares of this life, the stress, can push you towards the limits or over the limits, which has an impact on your mental capacity as well. And by having support groups like this, again, it's an opportunity to exhale. It's an opportunity to share without being judged. There's no right or wrong answer. Um, and it's an opportunity to develop. You know, I don't think you should ever get to an age where you don't think you matter. And one of the things that Dr. Meeks mentioned is that we have different generations. I believe that she and I are probably close to the same generation. And as a young woman, I learned very quickly that I tend to glean towards women with wisdom, older women. I like to hang with them. It was less chaotic, and I enjoy being around younger generations. And when they're open, it's a good opportunity to share. You know, everybody's not going to receive what you say, but I just believe that creating these kinds of forums is an opportunity to share information, to exhale, and to just know that it can get better. This too will pass. Because sometimes we can be in situations in our lives where it just seems like, oh my God, is this ever going to end? I don't think I'm going to make it, you know. But like Tasha said, you have an opportunity to talk with someone else, and you find that maybe my situation isn't so bad after all, you know, number one. And number two, you learn that, or you may find that because I've been through this, maybe I can help my sister go through what she's going through. And in the process, I really kind of forget about me and what I felt was so important because of the compassion that is shared during the forum. So, you know, a lot of times I believe helping others is a good antidote to helping yourself. And it just kind of works that way. But it's just a blessing. It really is. And then for Dr. Meeks to take the time to do it says volumes. And I'm sure that a lot of these, you know, young ladies, and I say young ladies because all of them are younger than me, but I believe that a lot of these young ladies are truly benefiting from this. And, you know, when it goes down the road, when they look back on it, they're going to say, wow, if it had not been for that forum, I may not have been able to make it, you know, because we're not even going into churches like we used to.
That's true. Yeah.
Churches, most church is, you know, virtual. I haven't been in a physical church since March, you know.
Me too.
I am a faithful worshiper, you know, but I believe in science. I understand the group that I identify with. So I've chosen to make the decision to just really not be as active and congregating, et cetera, because I do know that there are a lot of churches who even take reservations right now so that they don't have too many people attending at one time. So that was a great outlet for a lot of people, including myself. You know, I remember days and just said, oh my God, I can't wait to get to church, you know, because that was my outlet, because I could praise God. You know, I forget about my situation. I would hear a word, you know, that would encourage me and remind me of the God that I served, and, you know, how my praises, he inhabited them, and that would give me strength to go on. But we don't have that in a lot of in a lot of situations right now. So this forum is somewhat taking the place of that to some degree. You know, we don't get to go to the Tuesday night Bible study where we can all sit around, you know, and some of us do, you know, different people are doing different things. But my point is that it has been a blessing because it has created an opportunity for individuals to come together and to just share. And one of the things that I've learned is that talk about everything. So Dr. Meeks is very open. It's like, well, what do you think would be a good topic? And she brought up something last week, and I was like, oh my God, that would be a great topic. And that was about our fathers, women and their fathers. Because I have some issues with that, you know. That, first of all, when you can acknowledge where you are and that you can receive help or you need help in a certain area of your life, it's very much medicine to the soul.
Well, let me then, and I'm asking the three of you this question with everything that was just said, and in my circle, whether or not it's a male or a female who I know has some serious issues that could benefit, but there's always that person that you know be like, oh Lord, my friend, but it would be a struggle for them to take part in the support group. What would you try to do, or and maybe Kathy can help us, or maybe we can help each other? What are some of the things that we think? What are some of the things that we might be able to do for that person that we know need it, but would be the last to reach out?
Can
That's
you rephrase? Because what we try to do is to create a safe environment and where people, and it's demonstrated every week because people are just free to express, and they're coming in, they're expressing, and they know that they're not going to be judged. One of the reasons why people do not share is that fear that they're going to be judged, fear that they're going to be rejected. So the moment they come on, we welcome them and we try to let them know that it's a safe environment. And the thing that we talk about a lot on the group, we haven't really emphasized it in the past week or so, is confidentiality. Because they know one of the things when the group started, I emphasize is whatever happens in the group stays in the group. So that means that it's a safe environment where they're not going to be judged. Because we're all there to learn, and nobody is taking a position where, we are saying that we're experts. We're not, nobody's holding themselves out as experts. We're all there to learn from each other. And I think because of the environment and the climate and just the attitude of the people in the group, I think they will feel safe and welcomed and want to share. Would you agree, Thelma?
Absolutely. I think the key word is just being non-judgmental. Because that's, we come together, we share opinions, we share experiences, but there has not been one setting or one time where we've met that, I felt like anybody was just overbearing, like, well, I think you should do such and such and such. That has not been the case. And that's generally what I feel people shun away from, because they don't want to be judged. And I guess when it comes to an individual that you believe will benefit from it, you just have to continue to communicate that to them until one day they would try it. That's almost like, I would say, church ministry. You create a program for a particular group that you know there's a need. And the very people that need it are the ones that don't come, So
Yeah.
you have to be strategic in your planning to get them involved, and that you're doing it to help them, but they don't really know it or they don't acknowledge it, because if you just came right out and say, listen, this group is really for you, I need you to come, they probably would have an attitude about it, wouldn't participate, wouldn't feel free about it. So I just think in a case like that, you would just have to continue to share how good it is and how much you've enjoyed it and how you've witnessed other people to really benefit from it. And I mean, doesn't cost you anything, but some of your time. And even if you came and you were sitting there and you were listening and you believed it wasn't for you, you can click off at any moment.
Yeah.
sit in a room and you can't leave. So I think those were probably some of the things that you could communicate with individuals.
Wow.
And Charles, also let them know that they can come in and they're not going to be pressured to speak. They don't have to say anything. They can just observe until they feel comfortable.
Let me ask you this question. I'm going to switch it up just a little bit. But under the current administration that we have, how is it or did it cause stress and frustration, anger? I don't know if it could have caused joy, but has there been
You can't
a
even say that with a straight face.
I don't, I'm just saying, for some of us, I don't know. I'm just trying to cover the whole bases here. So, I don't know. So, but under the new administration, Kathy, and I'm asking in general, has there been some type of belief of, some type of relief of stress and frustration, even though there's still a bunch of stress and frustration going on? But since the election and waiting for January 20th to come along, among your family, friends, peers, yourself, family relationships, conversation, has it changed? Is it still stressful, or has the stress come down a little bit? Can someone speak on that?
It has come down a little bit, but there is still people are still apprehensive. They don't know what is going to happen in January. So they're glad the elections itself is over and Trump is out of power, supposedly. But with his rhetoric day after day and the things that he's currently saying, the people are still not 100% peaceful, feeling peaceful about the whole situation. That's my experience. Because even for myself, yes, I am glad that that the present administration was voted out. It was a landslide, even using his own words. But still, what do you do when somebody keeps saying that? I mean, he's delusional, no doubt, but nevertheless, it's printed every day that he won the election. And what is going to happen, in Georgia in a few weeks? Because he's saying that the election was rigged. So, of course, people are hearing this, and I think there is, I don't know, it's like, let's just wait and see what's going to happen. We don't know what is going to happen. Let's just be honest. We don't know if the military will have to go in and pull him out. We really don't know. Because he's crazy enough to try something crazy.
Absolutely. And I just believe that this is a time when we really need to seek the face of God, because we don't know.
We don't know.
There are so many things that are not within our control. And we could spend sleepless nights, pulling our hair out and just wondering and nervous. And I mean, when I think about it, sometimes all I can just say is Jesus, because I don't know, but I have enough confidence in the God that I serve that regardless of what happens around me, that he is God enough to handle it, and he will protect me. And nothing happens except God allows it to happen.
That is true.
And there is so much stress. I have a daughter, grown daughter, who is a single parent. And I was listening to you talking about, she's working from home. She has 3 children. 2 of them are in school. She's trying to help them with their work, COVID. is we got the vaccine. We don't even know what the reactions are going to be to it. Glad we have the vaccine, but we don't know if there's going to be side effects. We don't know how long it's going to be, if there are side effects before the side effects come up. So there's so many things that are unknown. But one thing that I do know is that God is in control.
And he's in control. I agree.
I also believe that, if you dig one ditch, you better dig two, because just as sure one may be for you. Sometimes people, they act real crazy because of fear. That he doesn't know what's going to happen.
That is true.
He has a lot on his plate, and I can imagine he does not sleep just because of his personality.
Yes.
So he's causing all of this rhetoric because his mind is in turmoil.
Yes.
He does not know what's going to happen because he has so many issues that he knows he's going to have to face.
Yes.
And that's why we have to really be prayerful, because a person who is afraid is a dangerous person.
Is a very dangerous. I agree.
And so, yes, it's calmed down. I am ecstatic. I'm believing on January 20th that I just believe that everything is going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say that we should take our guards down. We should be mindful. We should be prayerful. We should not second guess ourselves. God has given us a spirit of discernment and common sense, and we should utilize that.
Yes.
But I just believe that God is in control, and I've seen so many comical things on Facebook about what's going to happen,
Yes.
pulling up, and how he's, kicking and screaming. But I don't even think that he's going to go through that because he has too much pride.
Something, but fear. You touched on something very powerful, and I think the reason why he is going to exhaust every means out there to stay in power, and it's the fear. What is he going to face? He is terrified that the state of New York is going to try to put him in jail.
Yes, absolutely.
He is terrified.
And he should
So
be.
whatever means he can try and all that nonsense just to hold on a little bit longer, he's going to.
Yeah.
Because the whole family, I would imagine, is scared. They're all scared to death.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah. That sister in New York is sitting there like this right here. She waiting on him. She's
I can just
that sister's like this right here. But see, Trump is this right here. He knows exactly what he's doing because he knows his base. And he knows as long as he throws all this crazy mess out there, they're going to continue to send him money. And that's all he's trying to do. He's trying to have them send it because they have given him well over $270 million. And all he's doing is the more craziness I create, the more this, the more they're going to be like, yeah. And all he's doing is like, thank you very much. Let's see what other madness, what other craziness, because he's going to need every penny of it, and all he's trying to do is just tap into whatever those people out there, and they just like, okay, and that's all he's doing. Is just waiting for the money to continue to come in, because the more chaos that he creates, the more those people actually believe him and send them their money. Because that's all he cares about.
That too, but I know that he will have to face the piper, and I think the thing that's scaring him to death is that he may end up in jail.
Well, I got a feeling that he's going to leave the country.
He is too much of a coward to commit suicide like Epstein. He doesn't know. He's too much of a coward, so he doesn't know what the outcome is going to be, and he's terrified.
Oh well, yeah. I mean.
That people, when you think about what you said, the kind of money that they're donating to him, and to think that people are of
Yes.
such a mindset that they would support that kind of
The
rhetoric.
insanity.
Yes, that in itself is scary, because you just don't know. You don't know who you work with. You don't know who's your neighbor. You just don't know. And what's interesting, and we know our country has gone through some great revisions. We have a long way to go.
Yeah.
What he's done is he's created the confidence of people to really express how they genuinely feel. This isn't new. It's just that they feel comfortable
Right.
expressing how they felt all along.
Mhm.
So, and it's sad, but I'm just grateful that people had their say. They came out, they voted, and we didn't know what was going to happen, but God knows I was praying, and in my mind I kept thinking, I just do not believe that the majority of people in this nation feel that way. I just had to stand on that. I just
Yeah.
kept saying, I know a lot of people are like that, but I just don't believe that the majority of the people feel like that. And they came out and they proved that they
They
didn't.
did. Oh my goodness. I was so proud.
Yes,
I
yes.
was so proud.
So we have to work together, and that's
Yes.
But
and I
still,
really I admire Biden.
right?
I admire him. He's older, but I admire the way he's dealt with all of this. Amazing
Yes.
confidence. He didn't go back and forth. And that's really what Trump wanted. So that
Yeah.
made him even
To
more
distract
angry.
him.
Yes. He knows who he is. He knows what his abilities are, and he's just going about his business, doing what he knows that the country needs to do. And I am praying for him. I'm praying for him.
Yes.
I'm praying for Kamala. I said, oh my God, just protect them. Because I've never even heard, I'm 63 years old, and I've never heard where they had to have security to be with the senators who went in for the editorial, where they had the electoral, where they went in to cast the electoral vote. Some of them had to meet in unknown locations. Never, ever. So, we're living in a time when we really have to work together. We have to pray together. And we just have to trust God, because a lot of this stuff is completely out of our control. And when we get through worrying about it, it doesn't mean that it's going to just disappear. But I believe that God would give us the strength, He would give us the wisdom to work through it, because this too will pass.
It is.
All right. Well, Miss Tasha been very quiet for the last 20 minutes. I don't know if she's just taking a chill pill. I don't know what she's doing over there. You, you all right, Miss Tasha?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I was listening when we were talking about when you guys were talking about groups and the support group, and then I was thinking about the aspect of uh, this feeling of judgment, and how if a person comes to group, I think that it's important for them to know that in group, a lot of times in the beginning, it's discussed, that it is confidential. It is discussed that there's is a judgment-free zone, and then it's also discussed, that no one is able to mistreat anyone else in the group. So I think that knowing those things, it kind of opens people up to be able to share in the group, and then to also, be able to share different concepts and be able to make considerations on what they've heard. And then even if you're just the person that comes in and only listens, there's growth in the that opportunity to listen, to kind of formulate your own thoughts of whether or not you want to accept or reject the message of what you're hearing. And so I wanted to add that, but I know we kind of switched onto a topic.
Politics.
Well,
Well, maybe next time.
no, because I was saying, you know, the hour. I mean, it's been an hour, and I was gonna say let's do a recap, and for those who are listening and would like to know more about the group, what would you say? But then you actually said it in the sense of before I made the comment. So now you just said it, Miss Tasha, Miss Williams, and I'll say to Dr. Meeks, for those who are listening and watching and would like to find out more, and they may be a little hesitant and like, well, maybe it's for me, maybe it's not. What is it that you would say for those who may want to find out more information and may want to join the group?
I would say, give me a call, send me an email. Know that I'm going to listen to you, I'm going to hear you, and I'm going to guide you in the right direction to the group. We have some amazing people with just a wealth of experience who are standing by to love on you, to reach down and to help you grow. That's
Yes.
that's what the group is for, to just help each other grow.
You know,
And
one
tell
of the
us. Oh,
words
oh,
that
no. Go ahead, Thelma.
one of the key words that came to my mind as I was listening to Tasha, and that was respect. Um,
Hmm.
the respect for one another, you know, non-judgmental and respecting each other, each
Hmm.
other differences,
Hmm.
diversities, way of thinking.
Hmm.
Because I don't necessarily agree with everything that I hear, but I
Hmm.
respect the opinion. I respect others' ways
Hmm.
of doing things and, you know, their way of thinking.
Okay. Well, and won't you tell us, Miss Kathy, the time of the support group? Or I don't know, Thelma, you can tell us, you know, the time.
Either of you, Friday evenings at 7:30. What we do, we send out a secure link because we emphasize confidentiality. So we do send out a secure link. So for those people who would like to join the group, they do need to contact me by email or by phone. Charles, if you could put up my information, Kathleen,
I am.
Kathleen at kathymeeks.com, or my
Hmm.
direct number is 407-719-0610, 407-719-0610. And please leave a message. If I do not pick up, it's because I'm working with a client. So please leave a message. I will call you back by the next day.
And
But I will
again,
be calling you back before the meeting, and I'll talk to you a little just to make sure that, you are the right fit for the group. And it's just a little process, and then I'll send out your invite with instructions on, how to join the group, how to
okay.
join the forum.
Well, and again, this take place on Fridays at 7:30 p.m. And we have Miss Tasha, we have Miss Thelma, and there are probably about seven others that is part of the group, and very informative. And so, with that being said, is there anything that you would like to leave us with, Miss Tasha, Miss Thelma, Miss Dr. Meeks,
I
before
would just like
we
to for
get?
inviting me to be a
Oh,
part,
okay.
and always been inspired by Dr. Meeks since I've met her this short period of time. And I appreciate you thinking about me and inviting me to be a part because it truly has been a blessing. And I look forward to more in the future.
Right.
And tell me, it is so great having you. As man, it is so great having you as a part of this group. I look forward to seeing you every week. I keep looking. Where is she? Why isn't she on? Charles, is she okay? Please check on her, make sure.
Right,
So it's a
right.
pleasure having you as a part of the group. And Tasha, it's great having you. I'm so glad you have decided to join us.
Yes.
I'm
And
so
Charles.
grateful. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to join you all. And I just, I think I've always, like, since I've known you to be a straight shooter, a direct person, and you're gonna know that you're getting the real deal when you're communicate. When we're communicating, I know that I'm getting the real deal, and so I appreciate that, and I love the energy in the group, and the openness in the group. So I look forward to joining, like just taking it, moving forward, and being there as much as possible.
Well, the funny thing is, I know that at some point in time, the group is going to come together and they're going to have a cruise. Watch.
Yes. Oh, yes. The old song.
That sounds good.
Yes.
And
You
there will
see
be
how
no
he throws
pictures
out his
posted.
idea, Miss Thelma? He just threw that
Sounds good to me.
in. Sounds great.
Yeah, there will be a cruise and there will be no pictures posted. Watch and see.
Love it.
Yeah, all right. All right. I want to thank you ladies so much for taking the time to come on the Journey 2020. Kathy, thank you for making this happen. I really appreciate it. And ladies, thank you for your time. Looking forward to seeing you guys on, oh, well, next year. Next year, right? Next
Yes,
year.
next year.
You're right. And
Yes.
everybody, you can go ahead and tell everyone to have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Guys, be safe. Let's move into 2021 with a new attitude and just be thankful. We're leaving 2020 behind and we are moving into 2021 with a great attitude.
All right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Love you all.
Love you guys.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
All right. We want to thank them so very much for taking the time to come on the Journey 2020. I'm Charles Morris, where we come to you every Monday at www.thejourney2020.com. We're also on Twitter, Periscope, and Facebook. You make sure that you subscribe to us on the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that like button because that's what we do here in the year 2020. Going into the year 2021, a lot of people say, I can't wait till the year 2020 is over. But you take it one day at a time, and that's all that we can do. Supposedly, they have passed where this bill where you're supposed to now be getting a stimulus check, and for some odd reason, I'm not going to argue, I saw a caption that said, white, rich people, geez, boy, did I almost say that? Rich people think that poor people see $600 as a lot of money. I don't know. But with that being said, whatever help comes our way, we certainly appreciate that. But they supposedly supposed to pass that, and hopefully that'll be going out sometime in early January or sometime in January. And so, with that being said, by next Monday, we would have had Christmas. So I would say have a very Merry Christmas. Please be safe. As I was saying during Thanksgiving, please think of the elders. Please use common sense. Please keep your distance. Please wash your hands. Please wear your mask. It would make good common sense for the people that you love. Don't be selfish because of what you think you should be doing during the holidays, because this time shall pass as well. And we will get back to what we call a normal life. But for right now, don't be selfish. Don't be ignorant. Just use plain common sense to save not only your life, but the people that you love. And so with that being said, I want to say to everybody again, please have a very Merry Christmas and be safe. I'm Charles Morris. You be blessed.